Earlier this week, I saw a white woman say, I don't want to talk about race anymore. I don't want to talk about race. She expanded. She said she doesn't want to talk about race because there's so many other things affecting Americans right now. She's on the left. She is a media personality. And this is American Lies. I'm your host, Amy, where we talk about the American lies, the foundational lies taught to white Americans. They're taught to us because there is an effort to keep us separate from our black and brown brothers and sisters. It has been this way from the beginning. We talk about this in the first episode of the American Lies series because that's the big lie. The big lie is that we're different from each other. The big lie is to uphold the founding documents of our country. The big lie is to make sure that the rich get richer and white Americans and black Americans and brown Americans and immigrant Americans are all kept separate. Because every time we start to work together, they destroy us. Why do they do that? The government, the uber wealthy, it's because we're stronger when we work together. So this is a series directed at white Americans to understand a little bit of our own history. I started with a quote from James Baldwin, and I'm going to fuck it up now because I don't have my book in front of me, but the quote is something like this. White Americans are trapped by a history they don't understand. And we are. And we're looping, right? The gains that were brought to us by the civil rights movement in the 60s have just been walked back a lot by our Supreme Court. But why do we need those gains in the first place? We have the 14th and 15th Amendment. Black American men, when they were free men, were enshrined as fully fledged citizens. And then they got their voting rights. But 26 years later, in 1896, another Supreme Court ripped them all away with the Plessy versus Ferguson ruling. Only one man dissented, one sat out, so it was a 7-1 ruling on that Supreme Court. He got dubbed the Great Dissenter. And this is why we always have to talk about race. Because if we didn't have to talk about race, I think we might already be in the fight of our lives, right? Because that's where we are. The United States is on the verge of fascism, and it is this like techno-fascism where the billionaires, the politicians, and the evangelicals, and of course, the overarching tool of it all, the Heritage Foundation, are in an unholy matrimony. The through line of it is subjugation, and they're testing out how far they can go with this most recent Supreme Court ruling, which again, we needed that Voting Rights Act in the first place because of another Supreme Court. I just can't get over it. I can't get over how many people don't give a shit. I can't get over how many people don't recognize that the system we live under is killing us. And because of these American lies, because white Americans have been fed this little lie from the beginning of time as colonizers in this country that we're better than other people, that we've gone along with it. Even though if you're a white person in the United States, you're most likely working more than one job. A lot of us don't have health care. A lot of us haven't seen dentists in a really long time. Most of our friends, if not everyone, is addicted to something. We're all in debt, and these people in charge want to make it worse. I know that race is the most important thing because when we cross racial lines, people get killed for it. We can see this many times throughout history. One of the most prominent ones that I think about all the time is Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was killed in December of 1969. He was the leader of the Black Panthers in the Chicago chapter. He wasn't just the leader of the Black Panthers, though. He created a coalition called the Rainbow Coalition, which started in late spring of 1969. He joined forces with the Young Lords, Puerto Rican gang in the south side of Chicago, the Young Patriots, a group of young white men who had come up from Kentucky and other parts of Appalachia looking for jobs, children of the people who were members of the Klan. And from there, over the rest of the year, they joined forces with the American Indian Movement, the Brown Berets, the Students for a Democratic Society, and more and more and more. And by the end of the year, he was dead. Murdered by the Chicago PD in cahoots with J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI. This is all Googleable. You can look this up. I also love the writing in the book, The Assassination of Fred Hampton, if you need to read it. But we know this is what happened. And it's because he crossed race lines. He said, hey, it's not about race anymore, and we need to get past that because what's happening to the south side of Chicago from the uber wealthy needs to be reckoned with. This isn't the only time this has happened in history. The Wobblies did the same thing, right? And the government literally went after over 100 of their top leaders. This is the Industrial Workers of the World, the IWW, one of the only labor unions that allowed Black Americans in. The government attacked them and literally drew up lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit in an effort to financially drain them. We can go back as far as the 1600s and talk about Bacon's Rebellion. We know what they did to John Brown. First person put to death in the United States for Harper's Ferry. We know that they know that we're stronger together. Now we just need white Americans to understand it. I am white American, by the way. Very white, the whitest you can get. I'm only talking about this because I think other white Americans might hear it better coming from me, because God knows we're little sensitive groups, our little vanilla bean hearts that feel it, a lot of big things. So, to recap, I know that race is the biggest issue in this country. If it wasn't, we would already be in a class war. Instead, they're continuously keeping us divided. And again, these are the people that want the uber wealthy to get wealthier and everyone else to work for them. Like the Sam Altmans of the world, who said he wants us to rent our intelligence from him. He also said that AI is going to kill the earth, but we'll have some fun in the process. I don't even know if I talked about what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to yap. We'll be back next Friday.